Assalamu alaikum everyone, and welcome back to MehdinaTV.
We gotta eat Pizza Hut.
So in today's video, we're going to be giving relationship advice and we're going to be sharing about our own personal experiences. But before getting into the video, we want to give a special shout out to a couple of things. And it's this great website where they do couple sketches, they have more cartoon images, and they even have images where they show, they can draw you and your partner without showing their face. And some people might be more comfortable with that.
Yeah, and that's the best part. Like, they have a variety of images that they can create, and they have their own artists on the website. So basically you can send them your pictures and they can sketch it or design it or, you know, draw it the way you want it or whatever your preference is, and they will send that to you. Yeah, and now before we get into the video, please don't forget to subscribe. It's right down there. And don't forget to like and comment on our video.
Without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so you guys have sent us a list of questions on Instagram asking us questions about our relationship and some advice that we would give.
Yep. So we will start with the first question. Are you guys in a love or arranged marriage?
So we are actually in a love marriage, and in Islam, both love and arranged marriages are permitted. But we have our story on YouTube about how we met. But basically, we were in school together, and we worked together for several years, and then feelings had developed with time. And then after I converted, we ended up pursuing a relationship, a marriage. And so our situation was a love marriage.
Yeah, and basically love marriages are allowed if they're done in the correct way. So if someone wants to get married to a girl, the best thing to do would be to contact her family and get your family involved, and you can meet their family, and you know, you can get to know each other even more by being in the company of family members, and that's how it's done in Islam. Arranged marriages are good too. We just got a love marriage instead. So question number 2. Why did you pursue marriage without seeing her face?
Yeah, we're getting a lot of questions about this. So I never envisioned getting married to my wife without seeing her face at all. But the reason I did that was because after getting to know her with time, I saw her character, how she was, and she was very unique, and just something about her I really connected with, and I felt like I was never going to find that connection with anyone else. And so I just feel like if you really genuinely love a person, you don't, well, at least for me, I didn't feel a need to see her face. I wanted to show her and to prove to other people that if you love a person, looks shouldn't matter as much. Physical attraction is something that is important, but to me, I felt like who she was more than enough for me, so I didn't need to see her face. However, in Islam, you can see the woman's face if you're serious about getting married to a woman who wears niqab. I just chose not to, and I have no regrets about it.
Aww. Question number 3. Biggest challenges and blessings in your interracial relationship. So we actually have a video on like some challenges that we face as an interracial couple. We have like a whole video on it, but just certain challenges that we face as an interracial couple. It's hard to like adjust or understand where he's coming from sometimes, only because I was raised in a collectivistic family and he's raised in an independent family.
Yeah.
So it's like sometimes that clash happens because I always think about what my family is gonna say, and he's wondering why I need permission from my family even though like I'm a grown up.
Yeah, that was something I definitely didn't understand. Like sometimes, like why you need permission to go certain places. But at the end of the day, in Islam, parents hold a very high standard, so you're supposed to respect your parents. But there's, in terms of other challenges, though, for me, the blessings definitely outweigh the challenges, but some challenges for me were like language barrier.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I mentioned in our previous video, I feel like a human translator all the time, literally.
And also for me, like going into your family, I wanted to show respect and show that like take an interest in your culture. And sometimes there are moments when like I don't want to offend anyone. And so there is kind of like that learning process. But in terms of blessings, there's a lot. Just experiencing a whole different culture, even learning a new language. I think there's a lot of blessings in interracial relationships.
Just the fact that there is someone outside your family that you spend your life with, you get to know like a whole different part of the world that you weren't exposed to before.
Yep.
And I feel like that's a blessing on its own. Not to mention, like, just, you know, discovering his foods, what he likes,
Yeah.
what his, like, cultural foods are. It's kind of cool, you know? It's like, it's very blessed.
Yeah, like she's tried making some dessert from my culture. The malasades was a Portuguese donut. I've tried making a chari chicken, which is a dish in Pakistan.
He's actually really good at that.
Yeah, you've got to cook more of that, but yeah, so it's been great.
All right, number 4. Do cultural differences come in the way of marriage?
I think ultimately it depends on you, it depends on family as well. I think they can get in the way if you allow them to, but it also depends on family, so...
I don't think they get in the way too much. Like, I don't even really notice. Like, we resolve the issues before it gets in the way of anything.
For us, it wasn't something that got in the way, because like we're both open to learning about each other's cultures, but what I would say is in some cases there are circumstances where culture, like say a culture has a certain stigma against a certain person based on like how they look or the color of their skin or anything, that can get in the way.
Possibly. For me, like, I was already like kind of raised in Canada, so it wasn't that much of a cultural shock for me to be marrying someone like from here.
Yeah.
Number 5. How do you work through challenges / misunderstandings in your relationship?
Oof. How do we work through challenges and misunderstandings? I think having open and honest communication and just being patient with the other person when there is a misunderstanding.
Because sometimes, like, I think it goes for every couple out there, you sometimes do need your space.
Yeah.
And you need your time to, like, you know, think about the situation and just, you know, put everything into perspective before you can have a discussion. But the best way to get through the challenges is to discuss what you can improve and what was going wrong in whatever, you know, you had some kind of rift about.
Yeah. I would just say, like, living together for the first time right when this coronavirus situation happened, it's been a situation where we've been stuck inside with each other a lot, and I've loved it. But there's also times when, like, you know, there is some disagreements, and we're trying to get to know each other at the same time. Yeah. So just being patient and keeping open communication is really important.
Exactly, 100%. Number 6. What's the best way to keep your relationship alive? I really like this question.
Yeah.
So what is the best way to keep it alive, in your opinion?
The best way to keep it alive, I think something that I really value and appreciate about our relationship is the fact that we don't hold grudges. So what happens if we, like, sometimes we do have disagreements about things, but we tend to get over it pretty quickly. And so there's no, like, bitter or resentment between us. We always, like, resolve things pretty quickly, and we keep, like, an open communication.
Sometimes surprising the other person every now and then also keeps the relationship alive. Kind of like you don't know what to expect from the other person in a way. Like, sometimes he does things, like, to surprise me.
Like what?
Like bringing me flowers. Like, you know, you do that randomly sometimes, and it's really cute. So, number 7.
Oh my god.
How do you deal with temperature preferences? Oh my god.
This is something
this is a recurring issue. Like, this is something you guys need to talk about before marriage, man. Like, talk about it. Make sure the other person has the same temperature preferences as you.
You know what? We made it work even though we don't. So basically, I like more room temperature, and we're in the summertime right now, and she has the heater on. Mm-hmm. And sometimes at night, when, like, she'll have, like, the air conditioner and the fan on, and it just gets really cold. So sometimes you like temperatures that are a little bit outside or kind of a lot outside of what room temperature is. And I feel uncomfortable with that. So sometimes we'll even have the air conditioner and the heater on at the same time in, like, the same area.
It's the best. Sometimes I feel cold-blooded.
Yeah. I don't know. I just, like, you kind of have to, like, just adjust to it and just... If you, like, for me, because I love you, right, I try to just, like, bear with it. It's not always easy.
Well, sometimes you like it too cold. So, number 8. Did you get a lot of judging when you first went out in public together? So, before we get into the question, I just want to add that when we were in university together, we used to have, like, classes together, and we would walk outside the classes, and I never really noticed people judging us. So I kind of had the experience of how it would be walking with him before we even got married, so to say, because we worked in the same lab together, we had the same classes, so we worked in group projects. It was kind of like, it wasn't a big transition for us to, like, start going out together in some ways.
I think though also when you're in school though, it feels like kind of like you're in that safety zone, that comfort
True.
zone. But when we went out into the world, I mean, there are sometimes when I see people staring, but because we live in like Toronto, it's multicultural. There's
Yeah.
a lot of different religions and people of different ethnicities. So it's kind of like this whole melting pot here.
It's very diverse here.
So I feel like depending on where we go, there might be places where we get more stares. But like I'm already like coming from my society, I
Yeah.
am aware of that. But we haven't encountered any issues, alhamdulillah. So it's been good so far.
Alhamdulillah.
But we've also been in Corona too, so we haven't been out too much.
Number 9. What do you guys do after a fight? Oh.
Okay, after a fight, I don't like to associate us with fighting, but like you know, just the idea
Yeah,
of it.
just like fighting, you know, like.
Yee.
So what do we do after a fight?
I'm the type of person, like, I like talking things out shortly after, but sometimes, like, I have to just try to remind myself to be patient and let the
Yeah.
other person cool down, because sometimes, like, she'll be upset, and I'm trying to talk through it and be like, wait, you know, like, come on, let's talk
Yeah,
about it.
I need space.
Yeah,
Like,
a lot
as
of people
soon as
do.
we have fight, like, I need space so I can think before I say anything that
Process.
I regret saying. So, like, you know, just to, like, give advice on that, take it one step at a time.
Yeah.
Know your partner and know what they prefer. If they prefer to, like, have space, or if they prefer to, like, prefer you to be near them and talk to them about it. So just know that part, because I know he likes talking about it as soon as he's upset about something.
Yeah.
He likes talking about it, but
Yeah.
I like having some space and thinking about stuff before I'm ready to talk about it.
Sometimes, like, maybe you've seen, I like to think and process and reflect as well, but I just don't like the feeling of any sort of negative feelings, and I like to just be very open and upfront and say, hey, this is how I feel. If I act out, I'll try to, like, understand your side.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does take time. I'm not perfect, but we're getting better at it, I think.
Yeah. I hope so.
Yeah.
We're very newlyweds, kind of, because we just started moving, like, we just started living together.
Yeah.
So we're still discovering each other.
Yeah.
And number 10, will you say sorry to your life partner even when it's not your fault? I know that's really hard to do. It's
Yeah.
really hard to do, but you have to do it. And I don't think in our relationship we have a thing where the guy always says sorry. Because, like, sometimes if I feel like I did something, I will apologize.
That the guy will say sorry?
Usually, like, you know, there's an expectation that the guy is always the one to say sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I don't know, but, like, that's usually how it is.
I think it's important to see from the other person's perspective,
Yeah.
because you might see a situation a certain way, but if you can try to reflect and think about it from their side, you might realize that you did something wrong. So I think it's good to apologize. Sometimes I try to figure out what I did wrong first before coming with an apology, but like I think it's a nice trait for people to apologize.
As Muslims, we should know that apologizing to somebody never makes you the smaller person.
Yeah,
It always makes you the bigger person to apologize first.
yeah,
And it's always best to do that, because that shows that you're not arrogant at all. At least that's what it does for me.
yeah,
Because, like, sometimes, you know, we just feel like, you know, why should we be the ones to say sorry? We're not even the ones that are wrong. But sometimes, you know, just, like, apologizing to a person just makes it so much better. Number 11, getting married to someone who is not Muslim.
We've been getting a lot of questions, a lot of people messaging us situations like, for example, the girl is Muslim and the guy is Christian. What do they do? From an Islamic standpoint, if the girl is marrying a guy, he has to be Muslim in
Yeah.
Islam. So this one, in terms of advice, I would just say, like, it takes two people to take initiative in that relationship.
Yeah.
And I feel like if the guy loves that girl, he's gonna make an effort to try to at least learn about Islam to some capacity. Not saying he has to convert or anything, but if he learns about it, maybe he will take an interest and will take that next step to convert. But there's also other obstacles you have to deal with as well. Sometimes family situations.
Just adding on to what you said, I just want to say that definitely it's a two people thing. You can't be just one person trying to make a relationship work,
Yeah.
right? That can't happen. Both people need to discuss and see how to take their relationship to the next step. If they want to learn more about the religion, then they should do that on their own, and no one should ever convert for a person.
Yeah. And we had like a lot of obstacles, and I truly, like, my belief in God grew even stronger with the way our relationship unfolded, because we had religious barriers between us.
Yeah.
And then there was also family situation where my family didn't approve of our relationship, and it was just a very difficult struggle to make our relationship work. But because we felt that love towards each other, we were able to get through all these obstacles, and both people had to put an effort to make that happen.
Of course, there's always that thing that you should just trust God in whatever happens at the end of the day, because that's God's decision. All I would advise is just keep making dua and pray to God that He shows you the right way, because in these situations, only God can show you the right way. Last but not least, question number 12, advice for newly married couples.
Oh, I think the one point that stands out for me in terms of advice is try not to compare your relationship with other relationships.
Oh my God, yeah, please do not do that. No.
This is kind of, I'll be honest, this is a mistake that I've made early on in the relationship, because when I see my mom and dad, their relationship, I would often like kind of think about stuff that my mom does or what other relationships do, and be like, why aren't we doing this, or why aren't you doing it like that, right? And ultimately, every relationship is unique, and especially when you're first living together, your partner may be living on their own and doing certain like chores or certain things for the first time.
Yeah.
So you really have to stay patient. I've been living on my own for the past 2 years, so certain things I'm a little bit more familiar with, but you have to let the person get the hang of it, and it's something that I have to be patient with, and just appreciate the person for who they are.
Yeah, and just like I would add to the fact that because I started living with him and not vice versa, like he didn't start living with me.
Yeah.
I had to kind of transition into this new life. So all I would say is just know that life does change. So be prepared mentally, knowing that life does change when you move in with a person. It's never going to be the same. So just have that mental preparation in mind. That's what I would advise. And also, like, just know the person and kind of ask them, like, what they prefer in terms of the way they live, like how, when they would like to eat, what times they eat in a day. I think that's very important, because that's something that I never really cared about before.
Yeah.
But it's really important to know these little things before you get married.
And just try to respect like the way that the other person does something. Some people like to wake up early, some people don't. Some people like to work at certain times and they don't like to do it other times. Try not to pressure them into doing things your way or the way that you think is ideal.
Yep.
Try to accept them for who they are and let them do their own thing.
Exactly. 100%. And that brings us to the end of the video, guys. I hope you liked all the advice we gave. We're still very new to this. We're learning all of this ourselves, so we just shared a little bit of like our experiences with you, and I hope you benefited from that.
If you guys want to see like a part 2 of this, like we might be able to answer more questions, especially as our relationship develops. So be sure to comment if you want to see a part 2 in the future.
Yeah, and we might do it. You never know. But yeah, guys, we're gonna end our video here. So don't forget to subscribe down below, and remember, we post videos every Sunday.
Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Assalamu alaikum.